Hello and welcome to It's Your Business with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Joining me today is Lindsey Galloway, who was recently announced as the new president and CEO of Heritage Park in Calgary. Congratulations, Lindsey, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Mario. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let me just start, Lindsey, for those people that don't know who you are. Can you give us a little bit of your background? Where were you prior to Heritage Park and the companies and organizations you were involved with?
Well, I've worked in public affairs virtually my whole career, and for many years I was working in the for-profit sector. But since coming back to Calgary in 2003, I've been working in the not-for-profit sector. First with Calgary Stampede for 8 stampedes, as they say at the Stampede, and then over to Calgary Zoo, and of course Calgary Zoo for some very interesting times. I was there for the opening of, or just the summer of the opening of penguins, and then the flood, and then the rebuild, and then opening of Panda and the record crowds that they have enjoyed there. And had an opportunity to go up to Edmonton Valley Zoo and help them with their project with Edmonton Valley Zoo in terms of trying to advance the experience there and advance it as a conservation organization. But when Heritage Park called, the opportunity to come back to Calgary and work with this iconic facility, I just thought it was just the opportunity of a lifetime. So here I am.
So tell me, why you considered this an opportunity of lifetime.
Well, Heritage Park is one of those places when you mention it, it's to Calgarians, it's a place that they grew up with, and so they'll oftentimes when I'm talking to people, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I spent time there when I was a kid, and now I take my kids there." It's just one of those very special places, and of course, it's very unique in the marketplace. With locals as well as tourists, because it presents this living museum idea where the history of this area really comes to life. So it's quite a remarkable place. It is certainly an organization that has seen a lot of growth, particularly with new facilities over the last 10 to 14 years. The outgoing CEO, Alita Bisbeck, did a fantastic job in building out a very broad experience across 127 acres here. And I think the next stage of our journey is all about building an audience. We've had a very loyal audience, but there's certainly room for growth with that audience. And of course, this is difficult times. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a few minutes. But the opportunity to make all the pieces work together in an integrated fashion to really drive growth is what really excites me. And I see plenty of opportunity here. There's so many assets, so many year-round assets, but a fantastic summer offering, but a fantastic year-round plaza. I'm looking out of my windows right now at this beautiful plaza that we have, and that's open year-round, and that has real potential as well. So lots to get excited about, lots of excitement for the future. But really, Mario, you can't have a conversation in this moment without thinking about the very real challenges that everyone's facing over the next year, and Heritage Park is no different.
Right, exactly. And let's talk a little bit about COVID and the impact that has had on the site there. Like, how bad has it been, I guess, for Heritage Park? I guess since mid-March.
Well, we shut down on March 16th, and then we began to reopen in the summertime, and it was a gradual reopening. So part of the park was open. The Moyer, we had to make a decision in the spring in terms of putting the boat in the water or not, and in the moment we decided to leave SS Moyer out of water this year. So the experience was not everything that it normally is, and we saw that in the attendance. We had a significant attendance drop. We did everything we could and everything right in terms of creating a safe environment for our guests, And as the summer went on and even into the fall, we've seen our numbers pick up. We just had a very exceptional Thanksgiving weekend. Well, with the exception of the Monday when it was snowing. But otherwise, we were close to our capacity, the COVID capacity, which is, I think, a very positive sign. So we have reason to be optimistic for next year. But the bottom line is this, and what I'm going to say here is no different from every other attraction and business owner in Calgary, I'm sure. In 2021, we have to be open as much as we can. We can't run without revenues. We get significant philanthropic support from our community. We have really amazing donors. But the bottom line is, Mario, gate and banquets and school programs, they've been significantly impacted. So we're going to have to find our way to drive an experience that brings people back to the park next year, because we absolutely need the revenue. We'll certainly do everything we can to be smart about the losses that we wouldn't expect to see 100% of what we normally would forecast for a year like next year. But we'll be working really hard to try and attract back Calgarians and regional visitors will be a focus for us as well, because we simply can't be shut down like we were in 2020. It's an existential situation for us and like many other businesses.
When you look ahead into the future, what's your vision for the park and what it will be like going forward?
Well, first and foremost, we tell a story about our past, and it's a story that we've been growing in the past decade. We've become very good at telling the story about the growth of women in their leadership, in building this community. We've built relationships with Treaty 7 and the Métis community so we could tell more of those stories. And that is the direction we have to go. Community has many voices. And the history of Calgary was built by many different communities with many different voices. And we want to make sure that those are heard. We're first and foremost a museum and we're historians, so we present the facts, but it's important that all voices and all stories are heard. And that's, I think, an important part of building a very broad, diverse audience, is that everyone who lives in Calgary and the area recognizes that this is a place where they can see their past and their history and their legacies reflected, and be attracted by that. But Mario, first and foremost, we need an audience. We have not seen the audiences that we have since our centennial year in 2014 when we really peaked. And we need to get back up to those numbers. We've been bumping around close to 600,000 visitors, whereas in 2014 we were well over 700, and that's where we need to be. So we need growth in our numbers, and in order to do that, you have to really compete. There's a lot of options for families in Calgary, as you know, options for families with young kids, a lot of new competitors on the scene, a lot of competitors who've increased their offering, and people are very sophisticated in what they expect in terms of an experience. And so we have to raise our game in the next few years to really compete hard to make Heritage Park just a fantastic, not only a fantastic educational experience, but just a fantastic day out, so that people want to visit again and again. And of course, that'll be the basis of memberships. And of course, tourism should be a big, big market for us. So I think we have to focus on the experience in the next few years.
One of the things that I myself enjoy and my family enjoys about Heritage Park is that aspect about the new experiences. And I got to tell you, last year we, as a family, went to the restaurant and had a dinner and a movie night, and with sounds of music actually, and it was a fantastic experience. So, is that something I guess you guys continually look at, is just creating those new experiences for people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great example because we have this fantastic gasoline alley facility, which has a wonderful car collection on display, but it also is as a facility, it's a very versatile, multifaceted, so we can use it for all kinds of special events like that. Plus, we have 127 acres here, so we have lots of opportunities to do very diverse activities. Like music in the plaza is something that we've done in the past couple of years that's proven to be very, very popular in the plaza, but we also think there's room on the park to do those kind of community events. So definitely you can expect to see us trying new things to attract new audiences of not just the families with young kids, but adults without kids, with seniors, as diverse as we can. I mean, our audience should be as diverse as Calgary is.
Okay, super. Thanks for joining us today, Lindsey.
Thanks for having me, Mario. All the best to you.
You too. That was Lindsey Galloway, who is the new president and CEO of Heritage Park in Calgary. This has been It's Your Business with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Thanks for joining us today.